What's going on, guys? It's me, Shukashu. We are back with another Umamusume video, and we are back to training for the CM. This time around, it is going to be for long distance, so that is why you guys see Anime Collab Kita here, because I did mention that I was going to use it for long distance, but the case would be if she is one of the better ones that I do end up training. That is the key there. If she isn't one of the better ones, then she can't be used. As for the debuffer, I haven't decided yet who I really wanted to be the debuffer. I had an idea, but she is one of the cards and it's not nice nature, so I might actually end up using nice nature in this case. If not, then that means I found someone else, or I can go back to Agnes Tachyon as well. But also tomorrow we do have a new banner tomorrow. So for, I guess, yeah, for tomorrow's video, this come out tonight. For tomorrow's video, it'll be the new banner, and I believe it is Narita, Top Road, and Ayabe. So, and I don't think it's the Christmas banner, unless that's the Christmas banner. That because it doesn't give that, Christmas feel when I look at the banner. At least how they look like. Also, it doesn't have that Christmas feel, but we'll see what happens. But other than that, here we are with Anime Collab Kitasan Black. We're gonna give her a shot. This is the same sky that I ended up training, and then this is a friend's Mayano Top Gun. Other than that, the setup is pretty much the same except for the second speed card. Obviously, the setup is going to be the same, as it will most likely work for both medium and long distance. I'm not gonna shy away from using two stamina cards, only simply because, if y'all didn't know my history with long distance, for some odd reason I just can't train long distance well. So I'm gonna take advantage of the fact that I can use two long distance cards, two stamina cards here, and just use it along with the typical setup with 2 speed, 1 wise, and 1 power. And the speed card I did ended up borrowing was, or is, the I'll say silence, Smart Falcon one, because it is probably the best speed card for escapes. Also, yeah, that's just pretty much it. That is pretty much it. Don't really have any other wise cards, so that's why I'm still using Taishin. Obviously, I can't use my Kita speed cards, so here we are using Dormente, which is perfectly fine. And then no other power card but to use the Taishin one. So other than that, let's get this run started. But before we do jump into the run into the comments, if you guys haven't joined the Discord server, link is down in the description down below, because there is a channel called Circle Request. Because if you guys are looking for a circle to join, y'all are free to join the circle that I'm in. It is called Shushu. Once you give it a search, hit request join. It'll let me know that you sent the request. And then after that, you can either go to the comments section or to the Circle Request channel in the Discord server, and let me know there that you sent the request along with your in-game name, just so I can make sure to add you into the circle and not someone else. And that is pretty much it on that. And let me go take a look, get the comments all loaded up, and also I'm going to take a peek at the held comments, just in case there are any comments held for review for some odd reason. And other than that, there isn't. And the first comment, no, not Tanoki. The first comment is going to be from Nova. There is a comment from Tanoki as well, but the first ones, I think it's only Tanoki and Nova. It is only Tanoki and Nova. So yeah, the first comment is going to be from Nova after I pick my option here. And the first one says, "Thank you, Shushu, for sharing your Uma experience. When my Taiwanese friend who quit Uma already first wanted to see what JP Uma is like, I think that sealed my fate." Well, there was nothing else for me to talk about my experience. That's pretty much how it's been. I never really thought about it more than what I said yesterday, to be quite honest. To be quite honest. Like, if I did wanted to take it more seriously, I can, but I think I mentioned it yesterday that y'all know me as to like a variety of things. whether it's a variety of anime, variety of different kind of game genres and all that. And with the fact that I also play a variety of gacha games, it just shows that I can't necessarily focus myself into one gacha game. Hence why I don't only play Pretty Derby. If I did, then this would be a different story. I most likely would have put in the time for the parents, put in the time for everything that I should be doing instead. But also on top of that, just like you, Nova, Uma doesn't necessarily have that feeling as my main game. And that's just how it is. That is just how it is, 24%. It's okay, it happened early, although her motivation is bad already. We're just chilling at neutral, and now I feel obligated to raise it up. So I'm gonna do that. Which I wish it raised up a little bit more, but it definitely wasn't the dating event that should have happened to make that happen. But yeah, just like you, this isn't my like main game. It is, I do play it more than most of the other games, but at the same time, honestly, if I did have these support cards, obviously I'd most likely be doing better regardless of having, or regardless of the time I put in it. With the same amount of time, if I had better cards, obviously I'd be doing better. But that's a me problem, because obviously y'all know me as the one to just pull whenever I feel like pulling. And honestly, for me, myself, I never really had a problem with that. Simply because that was just how I was enjoying the game, just pulling. At least that's how I started off, and it just stuck with me, where I just wanted to mainly pull for the Umas I wanted. Of course, obviously, later down the road, I did not realize that crap that I do need better support cards, which is why yes, I will say it kind of held back on it. But for sure, this time coming up before the anniversary, I'll most likely try to save as much as I can, along with saving as much as I can for the at least up to third, at least saving a pity for the anime collab Aguri Cap. Who knows? Maybe with that being in mind, that would be literally the first thing, or the reason why I do end up saving more, saving a lot more than I used to. So we'll see how that works in the future. But for now, we'll just see how it is for myself when it comes to saving. Other than that, yeah, that is pretty much my Uma experience. Nothing really too serious. Just really just enjoying the game for what it is. Because I don't know if I mentioned it yesterday's video or not, where I did mainly start the game because I simply just like the series itself, and also it being a different type of gacha game compared to most of the other ones I play, if not all of them, because they're all basically the same in some way, but also obviously different. Besides like the Hoyo games being similar to Wuthering Waves, at least that's how I see it. And all the other ones like Reverse and all that, I do kind of just bundle them all up to be kind of the same, even though the gameplay might be different. The feeling when I go do like my dailies and all that is still pretty much the same, where I don't really necessarily have to do much or much at all, and I just go through with it. So yeah, that is pretty much it. The ones that stands out obviously would be Pretty Derby, with, you know, it being a training simulation, training the Umas, and all that. I don't want to put Snowbreak there because it is similar at the same time, but also different. Because it's not like you're just clicking here and there, tapping different buttons just to do what you want. So yeah, I mean, it's just how I am. Although if it would come down to, let's say, like AAA games or like actual story games, I would most likely just focus on that one at a time. That's how I that's how I would function. And then I won't move on unless I had finished the game. That's how I pretty much approach the games that I do play and all that. Although about your Taiwanese friend, I think his approach getting into Pretty Derby was probably probably the main reason to his him leaving, I would say. I forgot what it was. Was his focus on was it on support cards? I think it was on support cards. Just correct me if I'm wrong. Which isn't a bad thing, but obviously still needing some kind of different Umas is still much needed. Like you could probably still get away with the 2 stars if you're able to at least 3-star them or something like that, but you could only get away with them for so long. I guess the trait that fits me is the Rock Hoarder. That is true. In conclusion, I'm just gonna keep going as it is. I tried many different things in the past, but I'm doing fine now, I think. Yeah, I never really changed much for myself, so if I'm doing fine as I am, even though obviously I could do better, at least in the saving department, so I can become a better rock hoarder, as you would call yourself. And then yeah, I think you'll be fine. Obviously, you can do better, but that's only if you choose to add more time into the game. And we've seen the potential, and obviously it'll still be there as long as as long as you keep doing what you do. As in, just keep saving for support cards, I guess. For me, the transition will be nice and slow, nice and easy. Nice and easy. Obviously, if it's a character that I truly do like, then that'll be a whole different story. But yeah. I guess Shushu does have the meta. Hold on, give me a sec. That's fine. Do have the meta and Zenless. I don't, but that's only a matter of time once I get Miyabi. True. I still am using Lucy since I don't want to let her go. As for Wuwa, I do have the meta characters, surprisingly. To me, Zenless and Wuwa are on the same spectrum where I want to just use my favorite characters. In reverse, I'm just using the meta, be it Meganate or not. See, for me, my approach when it comes to Zenless is pretty sure Miyabi would work out well with what's her name? Yanagi. I'm pretty sure that's gonna be the team base that they're gonna go with. And with Bernice, obviously if you have Jane Doe, if you play the game, you have Jane Doe with Bernice, you can use that. But I can just go back and do my original plan and just build Piper for that team, or just stick to what you've been using, which is what I was using also prior to pulling to Yanagi, was the Bernice, Caesar, and Lucy team, which I don't mind as well because that team was doing fairly well before I even started using Yanagi. But yeah, which would still give me 2 teams. If I do decide to use Piper instead, perfectly fine. I could use Lucy for a different team. I didn't realize that was an upgrade exam. I would have done the I need to do an extra race. I didn't realize it, but yeah, Miyabi should work well because from what I've seen, she is a anomaly. I don't know if she's gonna be like an off-field DPS like Bernice, only because if she does pair up with Yanagi is more of the on-field, but I think either way it'll still work out well. It'll still be fine. For reverse, I'm just simply doing what I can in reverse. Oh, we have 6, so it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can't even do G2 races. That's how bad it is. Okay. I don't want to do mile. Let's do this medium distance race. This is my fault for not doing the hopeful stakes, but oh well. It's fine. We got enough fans. Hopefully I have enough fans for just the unique goals and all that. But let's see. Oh, I should rest. I have 7 days or so to catch up with HBR before JFL 2 releases, currently near the end of chapter 2, and I dread knowing already what's gonna happen. I do want to spend more time doing the story in Heaven Burns Red, which I'll try to, but there's so much story I need to catch up in different games. Star Rail actually being one of them. And the last, I guess we're still in the same patch. In the current patch, I haven't really caught up with the story, and I know that story in general will take quite a bit of time. When I say quite a bit of time, I'm meaning like over 5 hours. I could most likely chip through it like in different days, just pitch in different like a specific amount of time during different days, but we'll just see what happens later on. Genshin, they did update the story, but I don't think it's too long. I think it's at least like an hour and a half at most, I'd say. Snowbreak, I do need to do the new story they released, the event story, but normally the event stories is basically just an updated main story from what it seems. Any other ones? Oh, Heaven Burns Red, that's one of them. Obviously, if we're talking about story. Atelier, that's another one. They just released chapter 15. I think I'm at 12. I'm slightly behind in that one. And trying to think. If we're talking about like Zenless and Hua, both of them being, I need to catch up with the companion quests. Another thing. There's 2 left. I mean, 2 left for Wua, and in Zenless, I think it's about to be 4. I believe Lighters are gonna get one, which I'll do first prior to its release, just so I can get it out of the way before going back to the ones I finish. I don't think there's any other games that I'm aware of that needs my attention for like the story mode or like the story in general. We'll see what happens. Might reroll or just do what I did with HBR, reroll and swipe for most efficiency. I mean, from my understanding, most games you start, you do end up swiping for quote-unquote efficiency. Just so you can get the best possible result, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm not surprised if you do end up swiping, because I've already known you to be doing it. Did decide to pull a character in Princess Connect the last day before the banner ends, and the second 10 pull and we're out. I was ready to hit pity again, but I guess not. My friend said this game is gonna EOS for having 3 limited banners back to back, but I'm like, nah. JP server is probably the most resilient server. I would agree with that. And the only reason being is that JP server just goes strong. Goes strong. Like it's the realest of fan bases, if you would say so. Because if you think about like all the global EOSs, but the JP version is still sticking around, it's just a difference in the fan base, I would say. Wow, we failed too at the 20s. Yeah, I had a feeling that might happen once after the first one. We'll just make her feel better. We'll just make her feel better. First training of the CM for the CM, and we've already had to deal with 2 failed trainings in this Kita training, as well as me messing up the whole doing the hopeful stakes in the beginning. Another one, I would say. And I don't know. It just feels off. It just feels off. But I think how many turns did I waste already? Like 3? I want to see what are the odds that I get wise trainings. I think I'm gonna just test that and see how often do I get the wise training for the rainbow training in the summer training. Oh, I did do a recent poll. I didn't post it on Discord. But for Dolphin Wave, they did release a banner where it had one of the characters I do like, probably my second favorite character in that game. And I had to go for it. I don't know how many pulls it took though. I think it took a good amount of it took all of my currency for sure. I just don't remember exactly how much I put in. But I know for a fact it was all of it. Because right now I don't even have a pull. Do I regret it? Not for a character I like. Not for a character I like. That's for sure. Did I mention my Genshin pull for Chaska? I did get her. I did get her. And I've also had, speaking about Genshin, I just had news that Mawika at the Archon and Sitlali, the other character I do like, possibly might be in the same update phase. Update? What did you say update? Same patch. That hurts. But at least I'm not pulling on the next banner for this patch. So it gives me time to save up. But that's 2 characters I need to save up and possibly most likely 2 weapons. If I can pull it off. if I could pull it off. That's the keyword. Star Rail, the Firefly rerun is coming back, so I will have a chance to go for her light cone again. I think that's in the next patch because right now we're just having reruns. I think that's it for now. I don't think I did any pulls in any other games. Oh, and Atelier, I think around last week or a week and a half ago. For the part 1 of the summer banner, which is basically just the swimsuit banners, just 3 parts, believe it or not. The first part I was able to pull Ryza, which is great because now the banner is still there, so I still have a chance to go for Resna. But the current banner that they release has a character that I was interested in pulling for, and I think this is her first release, so I do kind of want to pull for her. I don't really know what to do in that game because I do like it. It's just they don't give us enough to farm when it comes down to getting currency. So it really becomes a case of being very selective on who you want to pull and who you should pull. In my case, I've just been really just pulling, kind of like just pulling for the characters I like. Albeit there are less. There are less in that game, so it's a little bit better, but a little worse because I'm not being able to get any currency consistently. Next comment says hit plat 3, but that's the end. If I had even try a bit more to prep, then maybe plat 4. If you did try to prep a bit, you would have made it a plat 4. I agree on that. Because you did it for the CM, you made it to Group A finals and won. It's gonna be the same thing for platform for the League of Heroes. That is for sure. And then the last comment from Nova is gonna be from the Wuthering Waves video. Camilla is a great waifu. Camellia. 10 out of 10 best acting and 10 out of 10 best yandere. The more I play WoWa, the more I realize that this game reminds of a certain anime. Yes, a certain anime that seeks to collect 100 waifus. This is what gathering wives is all about. Camilla or Camellia. WoWa is still cooking though. Tons of new waifus coming in 2.0. Well, I mean, if it's gonna be like anything like Genshin, Star Rail, there's endless. Or any other gacha game, I would say, or most other gacha games. Most of the characters will be waifus. That's just how it's gonna be. That's just how it's gonna be. But I do agree. For Camellia being a yandere, it doesn't necessarily feel like the yandere that I dislike. If you get what I'm trying to say. As for her acting, her voice acting, it does stand out to the rest because the rest kind of just feels the same, if you get what I'm like saying. Like they're like the others are acting fine, they're doing perfectly fine, but it's like there's not that huge difference in personality that makes them stand out. That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, we do have like the differences, I guess, in positions, roles, or whatever you want to say, call them. Like Jinxie being the, what was her role? I totally forgot, but you get what I'm saying. Like there's Jinxie, there's Chun-Li. So yeah, there isn't really that big of a difference on that end. Because they would all still pretty much just speak the same and all that. But then you get like Camellia, a whole different like vibe, personality, and all that. So for that, I do give Camellia a 10 out of 10, like you say. But yeah, Wuwa is cooking. Although I'm quite surprised that we're heading to 2.0 so fast because the game literally only released this year. Don't know if that was a planning issue because they did give us like 6 chapters or acts, whatever you want to call them, for the first part of the story, like once we started the game. And even with that, we still had a lack of content to begin with, to start off with in the game. Although since it's the beginning of the game, there was still other things to do, but people were complaining about that, the lack of content in the beginning. Now it's been fairly quiet about it. I don't know. It just feels the same to me. Uh, but yeah, it's just quite a surprise that they're already heading over to 2.0. Feel like it just had something to do with, I don't know. I don't know really what their plan is with this game heading over to 2.0 already. But other than that, that is going to be pretty much it from all the comments from Nova. Just like always, I do appreciate the comments, Nova, as always. Next couple comments are going to be from Tanoki. And the first one says, I was keeping an eye out for the 30,000 points platform benchmark vaguely, but I was always surpassing it for most of the first days. I was having an outside look at hitting 32k points for extra carrots. At some point, I was looking at 710 points per ticket for 30k and 890 points per ticket for 32k. It was definitely possible. Second last day was less smooth, but last day went smoothly and it ended with 32,460 points. I honestly don't remember the point breakdown of 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 when you reach plat 4. So I'm assuming it's 30k. I'm assuming it's 30k based on what you say, but because you said 32k would be for extra carrots. So my assumption is at 30k, which I'm pretty sure I didn't reach or haven't reached at all because it is plat 4 we're talking about. Next comment says, I don't check my emails for my accounts attached to YouTube. Give me a sec. It's my dumb email for signing up to websites, so they spam that email instead of wasting my time. Hey, that's not a bad move though. That's not a bad move though. Nova reflecting on what it means to play Uma got me thinking, why did I quit gacha games in the first place, and why am I back, albeit in a limited capacity? I used to play many gacha games on and off, but I did main, open and close quotes, main, 2 of them at separate times for their entire life cycle. Watching the ramp up of the game, introduction of quality of life features, extra events, and peak, and then the slow stagnation. Desperation to squeeze every last bit out of whales, causing excessive power creeps, and then playing through for a long time while knowing the writing is on the wall. I basically retired into just playing Azure Lane, but even that didn't last. And I could totally see why. I'm more on and off when it comes to Azure Lane. But really, yeah, just on and off at Azure Lane. Why I did come back is a good question. I suppose it is Total War, self-destruction, and Football Manager stagnation as franchises. Football Manager I only know because I seen it pop up on Steam. Total War, self-destruction, never heard of it. While not playing those games suddenly gave me back a lot of time. I had graduated uni and started working, so most of the time ended up being dedicated to work. It's actually a really good idea if you're productive at work to finish work early and piss off from your desk and only hand in stuff on time. It's not like I'm about to bust out my PC games, so mobile games it is. And gacha games was pretty much the only viable type of game in the barren wasteland that is the mobile gaming industry. I happened to watch Umamusume season 2 and 3 at the time, so Umamusume it was. So I had so it could have been probably any other game if you had I don't know, I guess had some kind of interaction like you did with Umamusume's anime. Maybe. Honestly, when I think of mobile games, I don't necessarily think of anything else but gacha games. That's how I pretty much see mobile games. It's just gacha games. Because majority of the mobile games that are out there that aren't gacha games, I guess you could call, doesn't necessarily interest me. So that's why I don't necessarily see mobile games as mobile games, but I just see them as gacha games because of the mobile games I do play. And then lastly, we didn't get an S. How do I want to play Uma, or what sort of gamer am I? The type that likes to scrape together something out of nothing and go up against opponents or players with more than me. Very early mid-game strategy, game chaos kind of energy. It's also why I don't play pay gacha companies. Why would I skip to the late game portion and steamroll the competition? That's also usually when I tend to start a new save in a strategy game. Which is a good point. For my reason is, well, I have mentioned it before. I'd rather pay for other things than, for a gacha game. That's one, because eventually EOS and whatever you paid will just vanish into with the game itself. Secondly is pretty much kind of that same thought process where it depends actually how much you would pay. I would say if you would pay like a substantial amount just to be the best of the best and what you say go late game portion already just to be top of the top, that's not necessarily would be my goal. Me, if I were to buy currency and all that for any of the gacha games I play, it would just most likely just to so I can get the character I want. Nothing more, nothing less. Not to be the best of the best, not to so I can like I guess we'll use Star Rail as an example, not to get them to 6 out of 6 Eidolons or an even 6 out of 6 for their Lycones. That is not my goal. I am enjoying the game the way it is, as is with what I have, which is more than the average Star Rail player, I would say. But with most gacha games, if not all gacha games, you can enjoy them without paying. is what I'm saying, because obviously if I wanted to, I could have gone through the extra steps and loopholes to do it for Pretty Derby. But do I see Pretty Derby as that kind of game that I would spend on? Not necessarily. Sure, it would help a lot, but at what cost? How long would it take and all that? Or I've been playing the whole game for its whole lifespan so far, and I've just been totally doing fine. At least in my opinion, I feels like I've been doing fine. Yes, I've had my struggles, but it didn't necessarily hinder me from playing the game. But like I'll use Star Rail as an example again. If I were to pick, it would probably be along those games, whether it would be Star Rail. I wouldn't say Genshin, but Zenless. Well, for more of the recent games that I know I'll be playing, sure. Pretty Derby, like I said, I never really seen the need or want to spend on the game. But it's also been a long time since I have spent for a game. So that's also another thing. But other than that, yeah, I totally get what you mean. When it comes to games that I want to replay and all that, basically any like story game or anything like that, I find myself when it comes to those games, I'm more of the, especially if it's open world, I look around, try to loot as much as I can, get the best possible things I can around that area, farm what I can. I'm that kind of player who tries to get the most out of that playthrough. Obviously, when it comes down to it, shoot. When it comes down to it, I'll use Silent Hill as an example because that is a perfect example. On my first playthrough, when I did the whole different sections into videos, I was enjoying the game as is. I was trying to look and loot as much as I can. Whereas in the second playthrough, when I was doing the hard difficulty playthrough, I was just trying to still loot, but not as much, but also try and speed through the game as fast as I can, which I ended up doing. If it's for any other games, let's say like in the past, I don't know what games honestly, but there are many games I played in the past where I spent hours just farming, trying to get the best gear and all that. Not necessarily have any, at least from what my knowledge, any pay to win options, obviously, because well, there are DLC, but I don't think the DLC necessarily, it was more like extra story, new items being unlocked and costumes, but the main thing was like to get farm for these weapons, these armor and all that. So I do get it. I do get it. Which is why when it comes down to like the Hoyo games and when it comes down to farming for the artifacts, echoes, relics, whatever you want to call them, it doesn't necessarily bother me because it's something that I'm fairly used to. And the RNG being bad is just another thing that comes along with the territory. Other than that, that is going to be pretty much it for the comments. So thank you Tanoki and Nova for the comments. I appreciate them as always. And let's go and finish up this run. Although this run is kind of just been dead for me, even though we have been winning the upgrade exams or getting the upgrade exams to an S. There were a few significant things that happened that kind of killed the run slowly. It would be the failed trainings, both of them, especially the second one that gave the debuff. The extra day we had to remove the debuff. And then probably just the amount of just the training. So I realized the training hasn't been too good, but it's been good at the same time. There were a few good training days, but it definitely could be better. There's a chance we don't even get an S on the last upgrade exam. We didn't even get an S on any aptitude. So this training run is kind of it's just there. It's just there. The main goal is just to do just at least get a UE at this point. Getting a UD right now, I kind of don't see it happening. But anything can happen, I guess, but I doubt it. So we'll just see what happens. So we are low on this. Low as in it's not yet at 1200. Our speed is low. Surprisingly, stamina is not as high as I thought it would be, but I guess we didn't get that much stamina training as well, even though it is higher than the speed. But let's get into the Ura finals. I just realized that Kita's growth rate is 10% on speed and 20% on guts, which in a way is all right, because then the two stamina would work, I guess, perfectly fine, and it would, I guess, be okay when it comes down to we actually managed to make it to an S. Help out guts a little bit with that. But I don't know. I think I just need multiple runs and at the same time get better parents. So I think on my free time when I do extra runs for Pretty Derby, I'll focus on trying to get better parents. So we'll see what happens with that. Let's see how much we're getting. That's actually a really good amount. So I'm gonna do that training. That is a really good amount. For it not even be the main stat that I'm training. At least from that option. Now if I can get that for stamina, I mean not stamina wise, so I can get wise to catch up, I can at least do the last turn for speed. Okay. So yeah, this would be the best option. I think we're okay now when it comes to wise. I think. But at the same time, our speed is low. Really low. So I'm not gonna worry about it too much. Or at least the rest of this run. What I can say is this run is better than I thought it was going to be. Then lastly, I think we just give it to... You know what? Let's just give it to this, because at least it'll raise up the guts. At least. And stamina would be the highest stat I do have. So I guess it is what it is. It is what it is. There we go. Why should make it? Should being the key word? Because it possibly can't. But we did. Okay. I was just curious if I had made it or not. But honestly, this run wasn't too bad. Only a slight different things. I would have made this run a little bit better, like if you had gotten more speed training instead. This definitely probably would have been a better run. Or if we didn't fail any of the trainings and all that. So just some things to consider. It's 2500s, right? Is it 2500 like the Arumakinen? Oh, we didn't even get the... Okay. That's fine. I'll say the Airshakir skill. We didn't even get it. Which is unfortunate, but it happens. It definitely happens. This is groundwork, if I'm not mistaken. It's okay, because this isn't the run. Or the the Kita I'm bringing. So it's perfectly fine. Yeah, we didn't even get Arc Maestro as well. Sorry, I'm just looking for skills here because we are lacking from not being able to get some of the ones we normally get. So I'm just pretty much just picking what I can. And what seems familiar to me. But it seems like we may have ran out. Alright, I just took what I can, to be honest. Yeah, we didn't get an S on anything. Guts made it to an S, which is this surprising? I don't know. Honestly, if I could get Guts to a UG, which is 1200, that would be the best case scenario. That would involve a lot of... That would involve a lot of stamina training, but I did not expect to get a UD out of this result for some odd reason. Let's see. I don't mind the turf, but I'd rather get long distance. I don't mind the runner only because if I do train another runner or go back and train Saiyan Sky, then it'll probably work out better. Maybe, but we did get long distance, but it wasn't the best. So I'm just gonna pick whatever has more factors and see if I use her as a parent, it'll make it a little bit different. But other than that, we ended off with 1353 on speed, 1559 on stamina, 1409 power, 1017 on guts, and 1204 on wise, which isn't bad. The only thing that would make this better is just obviously more speed, way more speed, like 1700s at least, in my opinion, for myself at least. honestly, if I didn't get those power trainings and those power trainings were speed trainings instead, you could probably flip these around and add a little bit more to speed, and that would most likely been a better outcome. But for the first training, and I thought it was actually going to go worse than this, it was just decent. Getting a UD1, no S in any aptitudes, and the stats aren't where I want it to be. But it's a good sign that it was actually better than I thought it would be. So with that being said, the last one I did train was this UE4 one, like last week. And to see a jump from UE4 to UD1 actually makes me feel better about this training. Because if you guys do remember in the past when I was trying to train Kita, she was always like not reaching the minimum I wanted. For example, in UAF, I believe UAF, I was trying to at least get like a high UE or a decently high UE for Kita, and it just wasn't happening. And this is evidence because I don't have her at above UE4 or even UE in this case based on this. So it feels good to actually get her to UD. But with that being said, guys, that is going to be the end of this video. If you guys didn't make it this far, I do want to say thank you. If you guys can, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys thought of the run. Obviously, if things had gone differently for certain things and some training turns, things would have been better. But at least we ended off with a UD1, a not so pretty decent outcome, I would say. Obviously, it could be better, but at least it wasn't a complete flop of a run. But if there's anything else you guys do want to talk about or ask me, leave it down in the comment section. It doesn't have to be Pretty Derby related. It could be about anything, any other anime, series, games, anything like that. Ask me any questions. Any of those kind of sort of things, as long as it's appropriate, I'll go over it. And if you guys haven't joined the Discord server, link is down in the description down below, because there is a channel called Circle Requests. Because if you guys haven't joined a circle and you guys are looking for a circle to join, y'all are free to join the circle that I'm in. It is called Shushu. Once you give that a search, hit request join. It'll let me know that you want to join the circle. And then after that, go back to the comment section down below or go to the Circle Request channel in the Discord server and let me know that you sent the request along with your in-game name, just so I can make sure to add you into the circle and not someone else. But with that being said, guys, that is going to be the end of this video. Thank you once again, and as always, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.